shit. Did
You're
y'all hear me say oh shit?
You're gonna start the whole podcast.
Oh,
I said oh shit because I looked at my thing and it was like I was muted and I was like, oh shit, it surprisingly, miraculously unmuted me. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Still Dope. As you can see,
my friend was watching the podcast, and she said she liked the dynamic of all of us in one place.
Oh, really?
Well, when my Mega Millions hits tonight, we will be recording live from my fabulous house in Rancho Palos Verdes in LA.
Did you see that the OnlyFans people over the last year has been $3.86 billion, something like that? Not billion, something crazy over the last year.
I get no comment. I know you sent that to us, and I have no comment because I'm not going to disclose or deny that I might have an OnlyFans account.
I'm gonna do my hands. You know what
I mean? I may or may not have an OnlyFans account, and I may or may not have a feetfinder.com account.
I wish women like hands. I mean, men have.
I have nothing to put on OnlyFans, like absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna try another venue. Try something else. I'll try something else. But I heard that what was it? The girl Black China is the #1 creator on OnlyFans, making $20 million a month.
Shut up! I didn't hear that. Black China?
Good for her. I'm like, good for you, girl.
I am all for that. Go ahead. Listen, I'm tired of
a month.
Listen to me. I'm tired of being on what's the Twitter and TikTok and seeing these videos of people going to be like, hey, what do you do for a living? Because they're driving like friggin' Lamborghinis. Hey, you got a good car. What do you do for a living? I have an OnlyFans account.
That's what they said. Wow.
Or I sell my feet pictures on feetfinder.com, and I'm like, you know what? These 20-year-olds, fuck that shit. I'm gonna put my feet on. I didn't say that.
You did though. You did. I heard it. But whatever. Hey, everybody needs a second income.
Like Tyga, and those people. What are the dudes selling?
On OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe some dick pics and some, I don't know.
Tyga? Do you want to see Tyga's dick?
No, I don't want to see anybody's dick.
Because when I think of OnlyFans, I honestly just think of women.
Yeah, and pervert
I'm quite sure there's men.
Pervert men that are out there that want to pay their money to see my feet and my tits. Oh, I said
But I'm saying people that are I didn't know that. But no, I'm saying that have accounts. They have only accounts, so they must be showing like what? Their penis, their ass.
Black China gets $20 million a month.
Who?
Black China $20 million. Bella Thorne $11 million. Cardi B $9.34 million. But Tyga has $7.69 million a month.
Because here's how OnlyFans works. OnlyFans works where, I'm not saying I have an OnlyFans, but I'm just going to educate.
All right, girl, get over yourself. Just go.
All I'm saying is that you have your profile and you upload your content, and people if people want to see it, they have to pay you first, and then you send it to them. Like, it's not like some World Wide Web that you could just post all
I know
these
people
pictures.
have to pay for content, so I'm saying, what is their content? Is his music? Because I know it's not just naked people; it could be all kind of things.
Tyga deleted his account.
Yeah,
okay.
He was charging $20 before deleting his account, and had an account of 21.8 million followers.
Yeah, I gotta listen. I am all for it.
He would share his music albums, behind-the-scenes videos, intimate photos, and more at a monthly subscription fee of $20.
I can see somebody who's like, he's a big fan of his paying for that. And it's probably not a whole lot of sexual content. It's probably more music related and what he's doing in his day to day.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that. So good luck, Tanya. Good luck, girl.
Thank you.
What else is going on?
Hey, everybody, like you said, Chris, everybody was happy that we were together and we had a good thing. Swagger last week when we were all in the same room recording. Hey, thank you. OnlyFans.com and footfinder.com might be, the reason why we're recording in a couple of months from our base house in Rancho Palos Verdes, because I'm obsessed with that area and I want to live there.
Let me just say, Chris
I
was
can't
an
afford
excellent host.
Huh?
He was an excellent host.
Thank you.
I gained 3 pounds.
You're an excellent guest as well.
I gained 3 pounds. I feel like every time I sat down, Chris is like, "Want something to eat? Want something to eat? Want something to eat?"
Oh, he is. I will say that. I will attest to that. Chris is the absolute utmost best host ever. You never have to worry about being thirsty, being hungry, being comfortable.
And having content to watch on a big fucking TV.
That's right. On a big 175-inch square foot TV that actually moves and maneuvers, and you can sit in the courtyard and sunbathe while you're watching TV. I tell you what, that's our brother.
I get a lot of sleeping
so
though.
Lucky. Cheers to you, Chris. We are so lucky to have you as our brother. We love you.
So what's the first
I had
topic?
a nice vacation.
Thank you. All right, so we gotta do a little hot topic.
Can we talk about the Black movie soundtrack?
We did on the last podcast.
We did on the last one, but we can talk about that. We can talk about that real quick.
Let's talk about.
All right, so everybody has been talking about Ari Spears, who we've had on the podcast before. Our brother from another mother, Chris, came on, and we were like, we got to keep him.
He was not friendly. He was not
friendly. And he was not friendly on our podcast. He was not. It was funny at the end, but he was not friendly or funny during the whole podcast.
Very combative.
Go and watch that. But apparently, Ari Spears, well, everybody knows what he said about Lizzo. Said she looked like the shit emoji. And I'm like, bro, you sweat sitting down and breathing. You are not in a position to be talking about anybody.
It's tired, that line about her being fat and overweight. If you're not into her, that's all well and good. But then there are many people who are. So just leave it at that. There's no reason to try and tear her down or anybody else down based on their size. We should be over that by now. But that's how he thinks he's funny in that way. And he uses his comedy, in my opinion, to be a little bit more cruel than funny.
Yeah. It wasn't funny. It was cruel. It was mean. It was bullyish. I get it with comedians. That's what they do. But there was nothing funny about that. When I saw the video and he opened his mouth and he said it, his facial expression,
dead serious.
His tone was just mean and toxic. And I didn't like it.
And Lizzo's in much better shape than me. I'm smaller than her. And all the dancing and the singing and the moves and stuff she's making. You saw me on that stretching video. I'm not even limber anymore.
I can't believe we're bringing up that stretching video.
I think his thing about Lizzo is that I'm not advocating what he said, but he was talking about health and diet and not advocating being big is okay.
And I get that, and that was, but we've already had that discussion so many times about her. At this point, you just pile on.
But he was asked that question in that interview.
He could have still answered it without going in the way he did. And I think a lot of people, when they see Lizzo, they were concerned about her health. But again, she seems to have more energy than me. I couldn't do dancing, singing, splitting, playing the flute in that 2-hour time frame for a concert. I couldn't do that. I'm barely walking up 4 flights of stairs to go to work.
Listen, we were just at the Black movie soundtrack show at the Hollywood Bowl last week, and I was up shaking my ass with Kid and Play and everybody else. And y'all know when I woke up the next morning, and that was probably like what, 5 minutes of content that I was up and I'm doing my dancing. I couldn't even stand up the next morning because my knees was hurting so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Lizzo gives whole shows and bounces her ass around, plays a flute, and sings. So she's in way better health than I am. She's just overweight.
It's neither here nor there with him. I don't know. The thing is this new court documents that came out on him and Tiffany Haddish. That's the tea.
Lord.
Yeah.
Lord.
Go ahead, explain what it is.
Yes.
That they're both being sued by a woman who is Tiffany Haddish's friend and supposedly very close to her children. And the daughter first came out and said, I guess to her mom or whatever, that she felt very uncomfortable at a Funny or Die skit that they were trying to do, and Funny or Die rejected the skit, said that they wouldn't do it. And then the son did a skit. He was at 7 years old, and it was Tiffany Haddish played his mother and left him with Aries Spears, who's supposed to be a pedophile in the skit. And that one is uploaded. You can find it on the internet. I haven't looked for it yet. So those two kids are claiming that they felt uncomfortable, and that they didn't say that they were touched. That, from what I read, I didn't get that they were touched, just that they felt uncomfortable and
simulating fellatio.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that part.
Show them.
Show the girl how to give a blowjob, and so
that was how many years ago? It was like 12, 15 years ago.
It was like 12. I think it was 12 years ago.
So
the girl is now.
Why bring it up now? Why bring it up now?
So what Aries and what Tiffany are saying, that this woman had been trying this for a while now, and now that the girl is of age, now she's pushing her to do it. So there's probably been some kind of, well, they call it a shakedown, some type of shakedown, because I'm feeling too, like, I feel like in situations like this, I know people are very quick to be like, oh my God, and just demonize these people. I don't like Aries Spears. I barely like Tiffany. I mean, I'm not a great fan of Tiffany, but to me, allegations like this are very serious, and I always try and hold my judgment. If it's going through the court systems, let it go through the court systems and see what comes out. Because I don't know.
But I mean, even if she's been trying for so long to try to get them
to give her money,
she wants money.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It sounds like a money grab to me.
I'm gonna just. I read the article that you sent, Shahidah, and I'm going to withhold my judgment. I'm with you. I'm not a fan of Aries Spears, and I'm with you in that I'm not really that enamored with Tiffany Haddish, but I'm going to wait and see how this pans out. But if it is true, I will say this. If it is true, then damn the both of them. That's all I got.
And I agree, but then it always comes down to me for this. I agree, and I'm not trying to shame or put blame on people. Where was the mama?
It's the same thing with R. Kelly. Let's talk about it.
In the first place,
have an advocate for your child who has well, I know that she said that Tiffany was her good friend and they always checked in on each other or whatever, but especially if you don't know what the skit is, you don't know. She didn't know what it was.
But again, you don't entrust your children. You don't put your children in the hands of anybody. Period. End of story. I don't care who they are. It's the same with R. Kelly. I mean, I'll say it. When that whole R. Kelly thing went down and R. Kelly went to jail and R. Kelly was getting hemmed up, I was like, if R. Kelly's going to get charged, and R. Kelly's going to go to prison, then there's a whole lot of other people that need to go to prison too and need to be charged
100.
too, i.e., his handlers, like his bodyguards, his
All the
managers,
people who
all his
enabled it.
hangers on that had a game and had a hand in that shit, and on top of the parents that you would entrust your child. I'm not a parent, but I can say right now, if I had a 15, a 12-year-old, an 18-year-old, hell, a 22-year-old daughter that had singing chops like a Whitney, and R. Kelly came to me and was like, I'm going to bring her in the studio. And I walk in the studio with her, and he looks at me and he's like, yeah, you're going to have to wait outside or go away. No, that's not how this
At
works.
1 o'clock in the morning.
At
You gonna take my 12-year-old, my 13-year-old at 1 o'clock in the morning?
You're not taking my child, period. I don't care if my child is of age. You're not taking my child. Somebody's going to be in that room, whether it be, may not be me, but it's going to be my brother or her father or her uncle or a cousin or
It
a
sounds like the
friend that I
same thing
trust.
with the Michael Jackson thing.
Exactly. Same thing. So why are we crucified? I mean, I get it that these people need to be dealt with, but there's a whole lot of other people that are, have blame on that too.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm just gonna wait to see what happens. I'm not gonna castrate or crucify these people quite yet.
No, I'm gonna wait and just
I'm
wait and see how this plays out, because like Chris, like you said, Chris, it could be a money grab,
and that's what they're saying.
It just I mean, if something happens like that, you immediately then and there at the thing, before they're stars or before this and the other, you do it right then and there. This has been how many years?
12 years.
I mean, come on.
There was not saying that there's nothing wrong with I mean, you shouldn't have simulated thing, but no touching involved. No, it's just. Then why would you?
What I get, it was no touching.
Yeah, why would you even put your child in a situation like that?
Right.
No, there was. The daughter said that she saw Aries rubbing the kid's shoulders, but that was part of the skit. And he didn't have a shirt. He didn't have a shirt on, so that was part of the skit. And the skit was, don't leave your kids with. The funny thing is that the skit was, don't leave your kids with just anybody.
Right. And if you know that going in, that's what the thing.
But she's saying she didn't know.
Like doing a sketch with, you're being racist, and you say some shit like that, and like, oh well, he called me a so and so. Like, really? 10 years later? 10 years later?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean, I said this when the whole Bill Cosby. I know I'm going off track here, but I'm really not. I said this when the whole Bill Cosby thing came out. Like, I don't care. I'm not an actor. I was never a wannabe actor or actress or what have you. But I look at it like this. My mentality, I'm assuming I would have the same mentality then that I have today if I wanted to be an actress. And if I had gotten raped by Bill Cosby or R. Kelly or whomever, I ain't waiting 15, 20 years.
Yeah, but
I'm going right to I'm telling somebody, and maybe it might be swept under the rug, but I'm saying how my mentality is, that I'd be like, he did this to me. Damn my reputation, damn my career. I need to go now. I'm not going to come out 20 years later, but that's just me. Not saying that
I get you, because I say that now, but I was sexually harassed at work. Very bad. Very bad. It was very egregious, and not by just one person. It was a few people who, never touching me, but the comments or whatever. And it did make me uncomfortable, but I made a very good living other than some of these comments. And I definitely, spoke up some, but not as aggressive as I might sound today. And sometimes I think back and I'm like, I really wished I had taken them to court. I really wished I had made a bigger, stronger noise than what I did. So I know that sometimes you can be in that moment, especially if you're trying to make a career out of something, you can be in that moment and be conflicted about how you should handle these things. Rape is a different story, though. It's because that's a physical harm to your body. But I do understand a woman saying, like, still, well, maybe I put myself in that situation. Maybe if I hadn't gone to, we talk ourselves out of being advocates sometimes for ourselves. So I get that, having been in those shoes to an extent. So I don't know if I can 100% say, like, oh, well, it was a long time ago. Sometimes it takes a person that long to build up the courage to say something.
Yeah.
I had an audition early on in my career.
Oh, God.
Where he was playing a light-skinned, light-eyed, biracial man in like 1800s, something like that. And I had a tan, and the caster just looked at me and he said, are you? He said, you're dark. I was like, not really. Well, I have a tan. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, so what's your makeup? I'm like, I said, my parents both have brown eyes. He's like, how did you get blue eyes? My parents both have brown eyes. He's like, oh, I guess somebody got bopped way back then, huh?
Thank you.
And I was like, did he just say that? And I'm in an audition, young, trying to, like, I'm like, am I on Candy? Like, is this real? So yeah. So but at the moment I didn't say, like, fuck you, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You're an asshole. How dare you say that to me? And I was like, so I left and I kind of swallowed it, going, I can't believe that just happened to me. And I think a lot of it could be a shock factor of, like,
yeah,
what just happened to me and what do I do about it? Is there anything I can do about it? And is it worth doing anything about it?
Yeah.
So this one, to me, 20 years later, part of a sketch, supposed to be I don't know.
Yeah, I would, like I said, I would have to hear all the details, both in a courtroom, however they decide to settle it. I can't make a comprehensive, like, denial one way or the other.
And one more thing, Ari Spears is hot in the news right now for what he said to Lizzo. And if you put Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish together, maybe it was just Tiffany Haddish and not Ari Spears, because no one gives a shit about. But now maybe he's more relevant. Now's the time to, like, try to get as much as you can.
How coincidental. That's the way I looked at it when I saw it. I was like, okay.
When's the last time you heard people talking about Ari Spears so much?
No, never.
I feel like every couple of months he says some dumb shit and he's kind of trending on Twitter or an Instagram or something, and it's always something of kind of shock value. And to be honest, he's a very bitter person, so he really says a lot of off the wall stuff. He's very bitter that his career isn't what it should be.
Yeah, I get bitter. You get bitter. I mean, I can't speak on that somebody's bitter. He just seems like a very angry person. Like, he's funny, even though when we had him on the podcast, and I was like, remembered him from Mad TV and everything else, and I was like, oh, he's gonna come on with Andy and be funny, and we loved Andy.
Andy was great. Yeah,
Andy was great, but he was just so combative with things that we talk, and I was just like, I mean, I think in the middle of the podcast, I had checked out because I was like,
we both did.
I think we did.
There was dead silence in some of it. Remember?
Yes, like he would say something, and with the
I'm not going to say anything. Tanya must have been saying the same. She wasn't going to say anything because he was so mean.
Yeah, he was mean. And then, like, at the end, I was like, let me try to lighten this load because, he's does his impressions and stuff. So I was like, let's end this on, like, I think I even said to Andy, like, we'd love to have you back because he liked us and he meshed with us really well. And he was like, I love you ladies, da 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 da. But it was Aries that I was like, him not so much. But I was like, okay.
I All right, we are 20, almost 25
Yeah,
minutes.
we're 25 minutes. Enough of him. Enough of him.
To Married at First Sight.
Well, let's get back to the issue at hand. Married at First Sight. As I'd like to say, as I pull up my notes, as I like to call this, the name of this episode should have been "Now We See Why Y'all Asses Are Single and Can't Keep a Goddamn Relationship." Jesus.
More than half of them do not need to be in relationships.
None of them.
I would say, well, not none of them. I would say all the men, definitely. There's not one man in there I would say, oh, he's ready to be in a relationship, this, that, and the other. The closest I could say, Ben, what it was Ben, right? It's his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, none of them need to be in a fucking relationship.
None.
And then
all right.
women.
Who are we gonna start with? Let's just go balls to the walls. Let's just start with let's start with a good one. Morgan and Ben, since you brought up Ben. Let's start with them.
I don't like Morgan.
Nope.
I don't like her. I think she's very. I don't think that Ben is a bad person. I just don't think that they're just not meshed together. I like him. I like Ben
too.
I like Ben.
I kind of like him.
And Morgan, I feel like she's like, I was humiliated, really. But the first thing that they're on the honeymoon, she was recapping, saying yes. And first of all, I was humiliated and something. Humiliated, really? Humiliated was like, oh, my wife's a fat bitch. That's humiliating. But by saying, oh,
Damn.
Go ahead, Aries.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I know.
She is, but that would be humiliating. But by saying she may not be a real nurse and saying it into one person who said it to someone else and it got back to you, that's not humiliated. So she's really on edge about bringing up that kind of thing. And I don't think he's that type of dude to be he wasn't trying to humiliate her. I could see some other people on the show humiliating that, Chris and 2 years ago, he could humiliate someone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Ben is. So I think she's overblown to a certain extent.
I'm gonna say that, like I said last week, Morgan needs to own the fact that she needs to own the fact that she owns the reason why Ben was talking about her credentials, because you literally went on TV or went in this process and said that you were a BSN. Most people that aren't in healthcare don't understand an associate, nursing degree as opposed to a BSN nursing degree.
She's one credit away, right? Something like that. So I can understand her saying that she's a BSN. I mean, one credit.
You can't do that. You just can't do that. I'm sorry.
I don't find that to be a big deal. It's like,
I don't find it to be a big deal.
Nurse.
I just feel that what she should have done is just said, I'm a nurse, period, end of story. I'm a registered nurse. You don't see a whole lot of nurses, i.e., we don't go around talking about, we don't throw the paper out there. I'm a registered nurse, because at the end of the day, we all carry the same licenses. It doesn't matter if you have an associate's or a bachelor's. The only difference is the money. She made that clear. It was the money.
Maybe she was just real excited that she was just about to become a BSN, and she's
not a BSN yet.
But she's not a BSN yet.
I know she has that one class or credit. I don't know what it was, but to me, that wasn't a big deal either. It
wasn't a big deal.
Like her making this a huge thing, to me, was stupid on her side, and him making it a huge deal on his side. It was. But my problem with Morgan is, if you don't learn how to forgive and move on,
right,
you are forever going to have conflict with everybody.
Yep.
because it is stupid to carry grudges. Who are you hurting? You are hurting you, ma'am. You are hurting you because you're walking around with a chip on your shoulder, mad about, something he said to a friend, which I found like, and I know everybody kind of beat me up over saying that, him talking to Justin and he don't know Justin or whatever, but it's still somebody to kind of air out your grievances with that he didn't feel like he could with her yet. But her holding on to it is absolutely ridiculous. And I think his friend, or was it her friend, pointed that out to her. Let it go. Let it go.
Yep.
So that's what bothers me about her. And then I felt like, I'm sorry, were you finished, Tanya? Because I really did jump in there.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Another part that really bothered me is he felt that he had to open up about his parents and his upbringing, and to me he was very vulnerable in that moment, and he was asking, well, how did you get past that? And she was just like, it's just work and I just did it. You are not past that. You can't give anybody any direction on how to deal with their emotions, especially past traumas, because you are still traumatized. Right. And I give him credit for opening up and being vulnerable with his wife, but I don't give her credit for how she received it. That's Chris? It. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I agree with everything. She's not. I think Ben's ready for marriage. I really do think if he had the right woman, I feel like he's on his constantly reeling from like, well, what happened now? Now what's the problem? Like trying to and she's just like,
exactly,
arms folded. Well, and if you were a few credits shy of having a college degree, are you a college graduate?
I get that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when she's filling out the application, she probably just said, I'm BSN, knowing that she was just that one credit away. Maybe she shouldn't have done that. But is it really that big of a deal if she's working in that field as a registered nurse? It's not like, I'm saying, like she's saying she's one credit away from being a rocket scientist, but she's working at McDonald's.
It isn't. When you say she is a college graduate because she has an associate's degree, so she went.
I'm saying not literally. I'm saying
I know what you're saying, but figuratively, she is a college graduate, and she is doing the same job as an associate RN as a BSN. It's just the money and the title. That's it. That's the only difference. And the money isn't. It depends on where you live. With her living in San Diego, I'm thinking that the money can't be that different because in Massachusetts, if you have an ASN and a BSN, you're making the same money. The only thing that separates an ASN from a BSN is as a BSN, if I want to be a nurse manager or if I want to be specialty and go and be a nurse practitioner, or if I want to be an OR nurse or a labor and delivery nurse, or like take on a specialty, then you need, or be in a more management type of role, then you need the BSN. Otherwise, if you're satisfied with being an ASN, you're still gonna make the same kind of money working on a med surg unit or working on a transplant unit or whatever. You're still gonna make the same kind of money. That's here in Massachusetts. I don't know about California, and I'd like to think that California would be the same, but who am I to say?
So she was stupid to tell that lie when she was going to get all emotionally bent out of shape about it.
That's right. I keep saying, don't say it if you're not. Don't say you are something that you are not. If it's going to come back and it's going to bite you in the ass, and now you're upset because your husband done told other people, and he has no clue. He's an engineer, ma'am. He has no clue what an ASN is as opposed to a BSN. But all I gotta say, the only notes, because I take my notes, the only notes that I could come with for Morgan and Ben was two. Ben ain't feeling her. I think Ben is just going through the motions. and he is not going to stay married to her on decision day. But two, I like the fact that he did the whole what do you call that, the grill that he did, the little date that he did for them in the
Oh,
apartment with the beef, and they have the little grill there. But here's my thing, people like Morgan comes in the apartment, and I get it that I guess it's TV, but I'm just like, you sat down, you just worked a whole ass shift, ma'am. And as a nurse, you just worked a whole ass 12-ass shift, because there's no 8-hour shift anymore in the nursing profession. It's 12 hours a shift. I'm like, you just worked a whole shift and you walked in the house and you sat, you didn't even wash your ass. You didn't change your clothes and wash your ass. You just sat down in the living room and was eating with all that shit on you. I'm judging.
I have
Not
one more thing to say. Ben, even though he went and he told her her trauma, the big difference between Ben and her and why they won't stay together is Ben is naturally a happy person. She is not.
no.
You know, Ben kind of wakes up like I do. Good morning. He's happy.
Yeah.
She don't seem to be. She seems to have to work up to a level of like friendliness. Like I said, you know, she just has a lot of issues, and she doesn't necessarily have to be like, you know, a fucking bunny rabbit and all happy or anything. But for him, he needs somebody at least to meet his emotional level, and not like he walks in happy to see you and he's just like, good morning. That's
me.
why I don't feel like it's gonna work.
That's
No.
me. I'm that person. But
And they
I
still
got
haven't
one
had
more
sex,
thing.
right?
Go
They
ahead,
still
Chris.
haven't had sex either.
He what?
And they still haven't had sex.
Oh, forgot about
Do
that. I think at this point, who cares? Because they're not
Yeah,
gonna
I
stay
don't think
together.
they're ever going to have sex. I don't think so. But I have to. I took. I as I my note taken. I mean, my issue. Another issue that I have with her. I thought that I was done with them with that 2 little notes, but I was. The mermaid date again. I was like, who the fuck does that? Like, if you're trying to like, I got a man.
That's the show. That's the show.
I guess so, but I was just like annoyed with that when he's like, "Oh, you know, the both of them are like, we're starting fresh." She's like, "I'm gonna take him out on a date," and then they get to the pool, and I'm like, "What's that thing? Like, who's that woman? And why is she sitting there with a little flipper outfit on?" And she's all Morgan's like, "Oh, we're gonna take mermaid lessons," and I'm like, who would do that?
Morning.
I couldn't do that.
But he did it, and he did it in good spirits. Now, had he did something similar for her, would she have done it in good spirits too, or would she have complained?
She would have complained and probably drop kicked him in the balls because she is a man. She's got that. I shouldn't say she is a man. She's got that masculine energy.
Yeah. She just has stink energy.
He's got that feminine energy, and I like his sensitivity. Although I don't think he's genuine. I think is just playing his position.
Really?
We'll see. We'll see. There's something about when I respected his vulnerability when he was talking about his upbringing, but there's just something about him in his eyes. I'm sorry, I always look in people's eyes. It's something about him that is just not genuine to me.
Mm-hmm.
I may be wrong, but I just feel it in my gut that there's something
If you
not
compared him to Nate about not opening up about anything, about being that's a big difference between Nate and Ben. Ben seems to be open. Ben seems to be like expressing himself. I don't think he's shady.
He is open, but I just don't. There's just something about him. But listen, we can jump
Morgan,
right.
That's what about him. It's Morgan.
We can jump into Nate and Stasha right now, because at the end of the day, I was all listen. Everybody, y'all know I have been on Stasha's tit. Like, that's my girl. She's handling her business. This episode, I was team. I was kind of like loving Stasha.
She was.
I was loving Stasha. I was feeling me some Stasha. Stasha was like my girl in my head. But this episode, Stasha disappointed me. Stasha disappointed me, bro. And Nate, I was team Nate all episode of Married at First Sight. I was all
All right,
feeling.
well, go ahead. Start it off.
All right, so I gotta go through my notes. I gotta go through. No, I mean, the fact that Stasha was basically begging him. I think I got a whole bunch of notes on them, but Stasha, all Stasha wanted to hear from Nate was, "I love you." She'd have been okay with if Nate would have lied to her and said, "I love you." She'd have been okay and wouldn't have. She would have shut her mouth.
If Nate had just said, "I see potentially we can be in love. I can be in love with you one day." There's enough
But he
about
said that.
He did not. He did not. He was like, well, I mean, he was playing from the other side as opposed to the positive side. To me, it seemed, okay, go ahead.
I disagree. Nate was very clear when she said, "Where are you at?" When they had that little thing that they had to do, that little what do you call that thing? Their little test that they had to do that the experts left with them. And she's like, "Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself as far as your feelings for me and where we're at?" And he said a 4. She would not let go of that 4. She's like, "So that's no, it's not. No, it's not.
I think
no, it's not. It's not fucked up. How is it fucked up?"
First of all, when you're dealing with, this is my experience, only my experience. If you're dealing with a woman and you know, he knows what she is, he knows how she feels, you got to be a little bit more compassionate to, I'm not just like Steve and Noy. When Noy said, "I love you," and Steve was like, "Hey, I don't love you yet. You know, it's going to take time." That's a different way of approaching it as opposed to Nate was like, no, you know, if it happens, it happens. There's a big difference between how Steve handled it with Noy and how Nate handled it with Stasha.
I have to disagree with you. I think that Nate handled it perfectly. He was honest with her and was like, "I'm at a 4." And she's like, "Well, that means like 40% out of 100." And he's like, and he made it clear to her, "We just got married. Yes, we're married. And I married you. So you have to understand where I'm coming from. I married you and this is what I want, but I can't give you this 100%." And he said, "But I'm in this and I'm working towards that goal." She just wouldn't let it go. Like they were cooking dinner. They were at the pool. They were in the this, that, and the other thing. And she kept bringing up that fucking 40%. And I'm like, if the motherfucker just said, "Bitch, I love you," would you shut your fucking mouth?
I think she just wanted some sort of projection in the, just like with Steve and Noy. Steve said to Noy, "Hey, gently, I'm not there yet, but there's potential for us to be there." And she was like, "Oh, that hurt my feelings, but I can deal with that." He didn't give Stasha any type of like, hopefully, whatever. Now, maybe because Stasha said, "Well, if you're not in love with me, then we're not going to stay together." Maybe that's the difference between, but Steve had the same situation. And Steve was like he was very careful and cared about her feelings more than Nate did to Stasha. That's just my opinion.
Shahidah, you got anything to add to this? Because we're going to disagree. We'll fight all night about these two. Because I'm sorry, I am Team Nate on this one. Nate was the adult. I'm sorry, I know I said Shahidah, you got anything to add, but Nate was the adult on this one, this episode. Go ahead, Shahidah.
This is her. So she's saying everything has to be measurable.
We're good.
Pull the phone in. We can't see it.
You can't see it, the glare.
Understand your soul. I want to know what your vision is. I want to know, what family means to you, right?
Thank you.
Like, that's
Nate was on point.
So then going back to what Pastor Cal said, this is just a commitment. You making the choice. Are you making the choice, or?
Of course.
What are you making the choice to do?
Making the choice to be married to you.
No, but not committed or loved or all that.
Of course I am.
But that's not enough. That's not enough.
If I was not just one single thing. It's multifaceted. Moving in, me talking about joining accounts, me actually talking about kids is a serious gesture.
When I can have somebody live with me, and I can have somebody like what happened.
Okay, this is my take.
Go on, Shahidah. Let's see what you got to say on this one.
I thought she was doing too much.
Thank you.
I do too. I didn't think she wasn't doing too much. Go ahead, Shahidah.
So remember I said a couple of weeks ago when they had that discussion about his mother, and she was like, you know, I want you to express your feelings. And I kept saying, you can't make somebody tell you or express the feelings that you want to hear. And I feel the same way in this interaction is if it's not exactly what she wants to hear, she feels like either you're not in tune with your feelings or you're rejecting her. He could have definitely been smoother with it. You know, a 4 is very low. If I'm married to somebody and they say, well, I'm feeling a 4 out of 10, I would be like, I would feel some type of way.
Yes. But it's Married at First Sight. Right. It's only been 2 weeks.
Okay, let me finish, right? So I would feel, so he could have been a little bit more generous with his answer, but he tried to explain to her exactly. She did not want to hear it. And she was annoying the whole episode. And when he got up and he walked away from her in a later scene and said he was kind of like done with that conversation, I totally got it. What Stasha needs to do is work on herself. Your partner you're going to have to meet in the middle. Your partner is not always going to be on your side. You're not always going to have the conversation that you want to. You have to learn how to be able to speak to him and have a language that the two of you all can come together on. It can't be all about you, ma'am. And she wants it all about her. I'm
not disagreeing with she was too much. Not at all. She kept going back to it, but he didn't give her any type of emotional. He gave her facts. This, as a man would do, understandably. And he's completely right. You are right, Tanya. He's completely right in what he said and how he said this. But he didn't give her any emotional thing to her to bond them together. And that's all she was looking for. That's all she was looking for was some sort of emotional things like, you know, I really do care about you and I want this to work. That's the other. I'm not there. Just like with Nick and Steve and Noy, I'm not there yet, but I'm feeling that it could be something emotional. He was going facts. And she's like, no, I want emotion. I want some kind of emotion. He's like, no.
But he's shown her. And that's what he said to her. I've shown you more than I said things to you. And that's one thing that she can't really accept.
I haven't seen the emotional thing from him.
No. When I say
actions,
he has shown her through his actions that he wants to be with her. Whether it be like, you know, planning a dinner date or just being not cordial because that's just too plain, but being loving, the way, you know, he might hold her and touch her and tell her she looks beautiful. Those are the things when I mean by action. That's what he's showing her. You don't always necessarily have to have the contract written out in front of you, Stasha. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of love languages for couples, and it doesn't necessarily have to be spelled out. But because she's so insecure and because she has her kind of abandonment issues, she needs to hear it. She needs to hear it in words, but she forgets that a lot of it is action, like he was saying. So I get what he's saying. I understand that she's hurt, but she has to grow up.
Amen. He is present. His the way he gives it to her, his presentation may not be the greatest, but he is there. He is present, and he kept saying to her, I am here. I keep telling you, and I'm showing you by my actions that I'm here for you and doing this. And she just wasn't hearing it, and that's why I was glad that he got up and walked the fuck out. He needed to walk out.
What's really interesting is that both of you are advocating how a man usually acts, and I'm advocating the emotional aspects of the relationship. and you guys are talking about the factual, which is understandable. I get it. I get it with him, how he would be like, I'm here. What more do you want? I get that completely. But he's got to give her, just to calm her the fuck down, give her this much emotion of like, hey, it's going to be okay. Trust me.
But
it's
he has
gonna be
said
okay.
those things to her.
Thank
Maybe
you.
not in this particular episode, but in previous episodes, he has said how much he's into her. You know, I just feel like she needs a checkoff list.
Yes.
And
Because she kept bringing up the timeline. She kept bringing up the timeline. Like when do you? She kept bringing up the timeline. You're right, Shahidah. She needs to relax her ass and sit the fuck down.
I agree with you.
Enjoy getting to know your husband.
I don't think she would have gone there. I don't think she would have gone there so much if he had given her at the beginning just a little bit, as opposed to that's just
no. I think that is the reason why her ass is single. As successful as she is, she proved it in this episode to me. And you know I love me some Stasha, but I'm gonna sit here and say she proved it in this episode that this is the
we need to go back. We need to go back to you do not love yourself.
I'm telling you, I was so happy. Listen,
Chris, she was
this episode. I was. You gotta go back. You gotta go back. Shahidah, am I right? I was all team Stasha. I love that girl.
I was not.
But all I'm saying is she just showed her ass in the fact that she is. When I watched this episode, when I texted you guys, I was like, "Whoo, this episode, whoo, Jesus," because she literally, all I kept saying was, "It doesn't matter how much, bitch. It doesn't matter how much money you make, how well you live, what the fuck you got going on. Like that shit you got going on, Stasha, isn't going to keep a man." Because if a man wants to be with you, he's going to be with you regardless. If you are making $400,000 a year and sitting on all these properties, as opposed to sitting on a regular old house and making maybe $100,000 a year.
But again, I don't think she's.
I think she had that expectation.
She's not braggadocious, so she knows that. She wants, like Chris, she wants an emotional connection to somebody, but because she's coming from such a hurt place, she's too needy right now. So she needs to just kind of like continue with therapy, because obviously it hasn't kicked in yet. Continue with therapy to learn, you know, that it doesn't have to always be in her language, on her terms.
Well, you know, and that's what she wants. She wants everything on her lane and her terms, and it's just not going to work for her. And I think that she is going to be her worst enemy. If that marriage, I hope that they work out.
I'm
really hoping that they work out. But if they don't work out, it's going to be because of her. Yeah. If she doesn't get her shit together.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I mean, she's got her issues, but he has some too. And I'm still waiting for his.
But then again, you're right. This week, he impressed me. The way he spoke to her and the way he was coming across, I was like, this brother got his shit together as far as mentally and how he was expressing his feelings to her. That's it.
People say that 100 because, again, just like she needs therapy and how he related to her, he needed to find a softer way to talk to her, to express, you know, where he was, and it could have been ended.
That's my point.
I got your point. I'm just saying that she for her to carry it on as long as she did, and to keep just banging him over the head with, I need answers. I need to know how you feel. I need to know where we're going. I need to know if you want kids. It was too much, and then I would have been turned off too if I was him. But he does need to. There's a middle. There's a middle for both of them. They both need to find.
I guess it depends on how you are as a person, because I don't need to be coddled. So for me, if you just
be coddled sometimes.
It's nice to be coddled sometimes. But when we're having a frank conversation about our feelings, I don't need the hug. I just need you to tell me We just need to have this discussion of how do you feel? How do I feel? Let's come to this. And let's
So if
move.
somebody said to you, okay, I'm at a 4,
Exactly.
you would just be, that would be okay. That wouldn't hurt you a little?
No, I'd be hurt if I was on Married at First Sight and married a man 2 weeks ago that I didn't meet. I never knew who he was, and he said to me 2 weeks from that date that he was at a 4. I might be a little bit like, oh damn, especially if I was feeling him. But I'd understand it. But I would understand it. But if I was dating a dude, like if I met a dude randomly tomorrow and we dated for like a year or two, and then we're like, well, we now we got to have to define the relationship, and you tell me you're at a 4, now I'm about to kill your ass. I'm gonna stab you in the neck.
That's different. That is way different because you got 2 years in.
Exactly.
You know, so at 2 years, you should already know without him saying a word.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, if you're in a regular, normal relationship, after 2 weeks, I'm sorry. I mean, I ain't never been in those relationships. After 2 weeks, I'm in love with you, or I'm feeling love for you. I might like you, like he said. I like you a lot. That would be me.
So he should have said a 6.
I like you a lot.
He should have said a 6, which is not great, but it's not a fucking 4. A 4, you're like, oh shit. If I said a woman look like she's like a 6, 7, you'd be like, oh, she's not an 8. Okay. Who says she's a 4? You'd be like, oh, damn. Oh, a 4? A 4? And if she's qualifying, everything is like, she's like a 4. He's like, and he said, yeah, I sound like an asshole, don't I? He said that. He said,
but we're not talking about, when you said a 4 or a 6, we're not talking about the physicality or the looks.
No,
we're talking about
the relationship.
I'm looking at qualitative comparison.
Okay.
A qualitative comparison. But he said, oh, I sound like an asshole, don't I, at a 4. Yeah, you do. You should have said at least a 6 just to shut her up, because then she wouldn't.
Even a 5. Even a 5.
Even a 5. Even halfway.
I don't think she would have been happy with that.
That's why she's harping on that 4, because she's like, we're not even halfway, and I'm at a 9, and you're at a 4. Anyway, let's move on to the next one.
I think if he'd have said, I'm going to end it at this. If he'd have said, if he could have ended it right there at the rip in the pool. If he'd have said, I love you. Or no, I love you, but I'm feeling like, when she was like, I feel like I'm falling in love, or I'm getting to love. And he said, if he'd have said, I feel the same, or said the same shit that she spewed out of her mouth, she'd have shut her goddamn mouth, and they would have
agree with that.
Like
I agree with that too. But a 4?
So what do you want? Do you want to hear? Do you want to hear what you want to hear? Or do you want to hear what he really feels? She only wants to hear what she wants to hear.
Yeah, but a 4?
So I get that part, but
if you know someone is in love with you, and you are going towards that love, and you're going towards it, 5. Even if it was a 5, I'm halfway there. I'm not even halfway fucking there with you, and you're at a 9. A 4 is kind of like, oof, that hurt. A 5, cringing. 6, okay, I'm still not happy with it, especially with her. Let's move on to the next one. Let's
oh, God, yes. We got to go, because we'll be talking all night about these two. Okay. Let's talk about Kristen and Mitch. I'll be right back.
What?
Mitch does not.
Mitch is horrible.
He does not need to be married.
He does not. He does not. I mean, when she was telling him about her goal about, flipping houses, and his whole big thing about, like, gentrification and the rich stealing from the poor, and it was like, dude, listen to what she's saying and get out of your sanctimonious ass.
Yes, I agree.
It was utterly ridiculous, and I don't know how much longer she's going to be able to deal with him.
Look, homegirl is trying her ass off.
She is.
She's
the only one I like.
She's doing the best that she can with what she got. She's trying to make him rain. She's trying to, as she said in the whole thing, I'm trying to adapt to what he needs and take a little away from myself to compromise. But he's not. But that fucking shirt thing,
that was ridiculous.
Really, Mitch?
Well, and the speech that he gave afterwards, like to make everybody feel uncomfortable. What?
He's
And that's my thing with these couples. Like, I get it that you have, disagreements or whatever, but I'm never having a disagreement in front of my friends to make everybody feel like they have to walk on eggshells around us now because we're mad at each other. That's stupid.
I think she wanted. It was so ridiculous. I think and everyone agreed that she wanted the public support on that. I agree she shouldn't have said shit, but it became an issue because and also since he says I'm changing the shirt, that's when she really brought it up, going, it's an issue. Mm-hmm. So he brought that shit upon himself.
It was him, yeah.
So he ain't ready.
He's not ready. He's not.
Never gonna find someone.
He's another one. He knows how to say things in the moment to make it sound like, that he's compromising, that he's thinking, and that he sees the bigger picture, but his actions say another thing. So he'll get her by agreeing with her and saying, this is something I need to work on and I need to do better. But then he'll go and his actions are totally different from what he just said. That whole shirt thing. I mean, as old as you are, sir, what is he, in his 30s?
41.
40. Oh, he's 41.
Okay, so that's even worse. As old as you are at this point, and you've been in relationships before, was wearing this shirt for your wife going to be an issue? Was it going to burn your skin like fucking lye? It was not all that serious. Wear the shirt.
And it was a joke. On.
It did. It did.
At the end of the day, when he's with regard to the shirt, and he's like, I don't like being told what to do. Then don't get married.
Wear something I don't want to wear.
Then don't get married.
You're right.
Because don't get married. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a marriage, I've been married. Shahidah, you've been married. Chris, you haven't been married, but you've been in relationships. We've all been in serious relationships where at some point you're going to your significant other is going to ask something of you, and you may not like it, but you're going to do it, whether it be wearing a shirt or going to an event or meeting a friend or meeting family members, whatever the fuck. You're going to have to do it because that's what you do when you're married and you're in a committed relationship. So Mitch was a complete bitch on that one. The only thing that I don't even know if I could say I like Mitch.
I don't like him.
I don't like him. That's why I was kind of conflicted. I don't like him. I think Kristen is in a situation where I will change some things, like basic things, but I'm not changing myself as a human being for nobody ever again.
Even
I've done it once. I'm not doing it. With his whole environment, I respect his whole environmentalism, activism thing that he's got going, but he's taking it to a whole nother level. It's extremism with him and her. When she was telling him about her when he's like cooking and he's like, what are your goals? What are your things? And she's like, I don't want to work for a company or a corporation anymore. I want to start my own, be an entrepreneur, and I want to do like flipping houses, get my real estate license and flipping houses. I kind of like the fact that he was cognizant of the whole gentrification thing, because as people of color, Black folk, that shit affects our people all the time, all day, every day. But I didn't like the way he went about it. Like he made it seem like she was just some evil ass person. Like all she was doing was trying to better herself and trying to, buy real estate, fix it up, flip it. I mean, maybe that is her her ulterior motive, to flip and make money, regardless of where it is in the community. She's just trying to make her coin. But that wasn't his place to get in her ass about it and start talking about, oh, that just seems ingenuine. Or he just kept saying shit. And I was just like, yo, you want this girl? Like, do you want, there's a reason why your ass is single. and the reason why your ass ain't married, and the reason why your ass hasn't been able to keep a committed relationship and you're fucking 41, 42 years old, because you're just spewing all this shit, your opinions, and now here you are.
And going back to the shirt thing, once she had to explain to him that it wasn't for her. It wasn't for her. It was for everybody, and to wear it, and he wore it. He still, even if it was everybody, still couldn't keep the shirt on.
No,
Had to change. Really? Really, Mitch? You had to change the shirt? Was it not comfortable? Everyone else loved it. It seemed comfortable.
It buttons up, and I'm not that type of guy with the button up.
But okay, so this was the episode that we finally saw the first time Dr. Pia showed up, and when they all showed up with the shirts, and he gave that whole diatribe of
being
the shirt thing, the shirt gate. He's spewing his shit, and he sounded like a complete idiot. And I'm like, Kristen, you need to fucking run for the hills. I get where Kristen's coming from, because she got cheated on, and she went to her wedding anyway, and she's just trying to make this work. I just think Kristen needs to run, because she is going to resent him, and she's going to become a bitter woman, because she's going to do the most to change herself for the sake of saying she has a husband and she's got some babies. And listen, it doesn't work. Been there, done that. It's never going to work.
Anything. That's the one thing. She's willing to compromise and change and modify. He won't fucking. If you won't wear that shirt, he won't even fucking budge.
Yeah.
He said, "I'd rather if I could afford a private plane, I'd rather fly first class." Like, what are you talking about, bitch? He's off. He does not need to be married. He needs to be by himself with his fucking dirty ass stove.
I was gonna say his dirty ass house.
His little fucking nut packet made out of burlap, and he needs to go to surfing and put a fucking band-aid on his head and call it a fucking day. He does not need to be fucking married.
That part.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say about that.
I got nothing more to say about
I like her. I do like Kristen.
I do too.
She seems to be the most mature one out of the entire cast.
Yeah.
And I like her willingness, but I do think that she's going to notice that she's changing herself. She even mentioned it, and I don't think she's going to be able to sit with that. And I think that she will eventually say, you know what? I can't change myself this much. I can't compromise who I am totally for you when you're not making any moves for me. And like you said, Chris, you can't wear a fucking shirt for a couple of hours. If you can't do that for the woman that you supposedly are married to and want to fall in love with, there's nothing that you're going to do for her.
Nothing. Period.
He can go.
Period. With a T. Exclamation point, Shahidah. All right. So let's move on to the last two couples. Let's go to Justin and Alexis. I got nothing. I didn't take one note on their asses.
You know what? They kind of went over my head. I saw them on the screen. I didn't hear anything. I think I heard much. Justin is okay. When they were like with Dr. Pia, this is one of the things I did take notice of when they were with, what's her name? Dr. Pia?
Dr. Pia Hall.
Okay. She's the new one?
Yeah.
She's the new one. Yeah.
So when they were with her and he was trying to explain how he feels and how he kind of like, gives up on explaining to people or expressing himself. And I'm just like, he needs therapy. He's too emotional. I get how you feel when you feel like you're telling somebody something and you're saying it over and over and over again. But like she said, you have to find a way to make someone understand how you feel and what you're going through. Even if you have to walk away, get your thoughts together and come back. But you can't just say, I'm just done with it, because it's never going to be resolved. And you have these issues because your communication, which is based on high emotion. I wish he would learn how to communicate when he's down here instead of always up here. And it seems like he's that type of person that whenever you question him, his emotion immediately goes up. He can't, and I feel like when people are like that, they're either deceitful, because why can't I ask you questions without you starting to go up? So if you're always going up, I feel like you're hiding something or you're being deceitful. And I think that's what she's feeling. And I kind of understand that now, even though she's not my favorite person as she was in the very beginning. But I didn't have any strong feelings about them either way. It's still the same. I think they're just too broken to be fixed.
Yeah. Well, I already knew after the honeymoon that this wasn't going to work. Like, she had the grandiose, like normal women, or normal people, I should say. You had the wedding, then you went straight from the wedding to the honeymoon, and it's all, wonderful. Because she kept saying it. Why can't you be the person that you were on the honeymoon? You always had my back. There was nothing that I could say or do that you wouldn't be like, I got you.
But they didn't have any conflict. They didn't have any real conflicts. They have real life things, the dogs, the work situation. They didn't have anything on the honeymoon. So it's kind of childish for her to even say that part.
I agree with you, because again, typical, you got your wedding and you got your fancy honeymoon, and now the real world hits you. Like, you're in this fantasy of, oh, I love you. And now you're in the real world and shit hits the fan with Mr. Newton getting attacked by Maya the dog. And now you're like, I'm done. And, it is, I got nothing for them. I know for a fact they're not going to make it.
When he said, she said, would you still be with me if we were not in the relationship? And he was like, yeah, I would still give it a shot. And he's like, same question for you. And she's like, no.
Nope.
But she said she's a runner. She's always been a runner. And I think she's
a runner. She's a track star.
She's trying to deal with that. I mean, I'll be honest. I would run away from him too.
Oh, yeah.
He's too much.
I'd be honest. I wouldn't even run to him, let alone run away from his ass. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, she didn't. She swiped him on him. So
too much.
Yeah, he's too much. That's all I can say.
He's too feminine. Let's just call a spade a spade. God damn it, he is just too womanly. Like, and then they were sitting.
That's almost insulting to women.
Sorry, he's got.
I'm not like that as a woman.
Neither one of us are that bad as a woman, but it's different when it's a dude.
He's just too emotional.
Too sensitive and too emotional.
Oh, the tears, the waterworks. Like, I'm emotional too, but damn. And then when he's like talking to her on the couch, when they were talking about the whole, like, if it were you, like, if we didn't do this and we went through that, we were together and we went through this, would you still be with me? And he's like, yeah. And then she was like, he's like, well, same question to you. And she's like, no. And then they're having a conversation. He's like, girl. And I was like, no, I don't want my man to be looking at me and be like, girl, no, that's what me and my homegirls do.
Yeah, that's
it's just that is not going to work. Again, Alexis is like Ben in that they are just going to toe the line until decision day. They're not going to show their ass. I mean, they might show their ass throughout the season, but it's not going to end until decision day, and they're going to be done.
So before we close out, we're done with them because we don't have anything more, right?
Oh, we got Morgan and Lindy. I mean, we got
and Miguel.
Oh, shit.
We got Lindy. Listen, I'll make this quick. Lindy is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Miguel's an asshole, though.
Listen, Lindy is psychotic. Miguel knows it. Lindy keeps telling him in not so many words that she's psycho, because she's like, I want to be able to have a meltdown and you're not willing to leave. No, motherfucker, that's not how this works. You can't. No, you can't have meltdowns in my house.
Can I say something about the meltdown? I got what she was saying to a point.
I mean, that was creepy.
You can I don't think she mean like full blown meltdown, but maybe she does. But you can't keep score on shit. I mean, I guess maybe when you're dating, you definitely can. Like you say, I'm dating her, and these 3 things happen, and I didn't like them. I'm out. But you're married to her, so you try and figure out a way. Now he's right too when he said there is a bottom, and he's not going to deal with a whole lot of foolishness for a long period of time. But he also needs to make it clear to her that he is committed to. I don't think she feels like Stasha does a little, that he's not making it clear to her that he's committed to that relationship. He makes it sound to her that he has a checklist, and he's just saying, okay, I didn't like that, I didn't like that, and I didn't like that. And at the end of the experiment, he's going to be like, no, you checked off all this stuff. And she's just asking him not to do that, which is fair.
That is fair.
Opinion.
But she also wants to have carte blanche to have a fucking tantrum whenever she wants to, and he should be okay with that. And
no, I don't agree with that. The thing. But she's going to have tantrums.
He said to her, so if I were, when they were having this conversation, and I peeped when he said, so if I was cheated on you multiple times and kept saying I apologize, you'd be willing to be okay with that? And she's like, yes, we can work through it. And I'm like, bitch, you you lying as fuck. She said that, or infidelity. No, he didn't say cheating. He was like, so let's say if I had infidelities, multiple infidelities, and I came to you and was like, oh, I'm sorry, work with me. Would you be okay with that? And she's like, we could talk about it and we could work through it. Yes. And he's like, really?
I mean, they could talk about it and they could work through it. I mean, people have been cheated on and talked about it and worked through it. But like he said, there is a bottom, and she doesn't know what her bottom is, but he knows what his bottom is. And that's what
I don't think that she, like the way she was talking, it was like she's willing to work through anything, like regardless of what they went through in their issues within their marriage or what have you. She's willing to work it out and stick it. She's a ride or die. But she wants to be able, I wouldn't call her a ride or die because that's just disrespectful to the ride or dies out there. But I think that she is just like, she wants to be able to do what she does.
Uh-huh.
And he's going to be okay with it no matter what.
We haven't really seen, except for the insurance thing. I got that she's upset, but I didn't feel like that was a breakdown.
No.
I thought what was more of a breakdown and what was more telling to me was her saying it to his friends. And when his friend got together with him, that's what is going to ruin her relationship with him, is because she brings drama to the whole group. It's like, and not just their group, but now you're going to bring that drama to his friend network. That was a big mistake on her part. Huge.
Chris, you got anything to add on them too?
I think she is a ride or die because she wants so badly to be in it, and he does not want to be in a marriage with her.
He doesn't want to be what?
In a marriage with her. He doesn't want to be married to her.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't want to be married to her at all. He thinks she's too much for him.
Yeah.
And also the difference between that, he's used to having a woman string him along and make him chase. And she's like, I'm here. Please let me. And he's like, oh.
That's why he's broken.
They're all broken though. Every single one of them have issues that it's like I said in the beginning, this show should have been named There's a Reason Why None of Us Have Spouses and None of Us Can't Keep a Relationship, because they're all fucking broken.
Well, I think everybody's fucking broken though.
I know.
I think everybody in general, everybody.
Oh, I'm broken.
Everybody
I
has
ain't,
something that's
but
broken.
I ain't trying to be in no relationship neither. I'm good.
So I mean,
We'll talk about
no
that
one's
after.
gonna be a perfect. No one's gonna be a perfect person.
I don't think everybody's broken. Everybody has like, you know.
I don't think Kristen. I think Kristen is as good as she's approaching it the right way of being, but she's broken from the fact that she's been abandoned so many fucking times.
Right.
It's broken.
Was it that many times? I thought it was just that one marriage.
Yeah, but other time they cheated on her. She's had it multiple times where it hasn't. She's been that way, and they've messed it up. As I said with Ben, I just think he broken. He's just with the money. Everyone has their thing. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think Ben is broken. I think Ben is just
everybody has their thing.
Just Ben. Ben is just it's all about his family. He has that mindset.
You keep saying that about the mom and the family. I have not seen
one. I haven't either.
He said it in this episode. He was talking about his family and they came as immigrants, and it was like expected of him to either be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah, but I thought you were saying it in the way that he's like attached at the hip to his family.
Yeah, and you keep talking about his mom, and now she has to be just like his mom. I still haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, I think it's coming. Well, if it lasts that long, because did y'all see the previews? We can end it on that. Have y'all seen the previews of next week?
I didn't see the previews, but I saw the ending where she was like, Alexis told me what you said.
Oh, I saw the previews.
I'm like, Alexis, come on, sis.
But you know what? Good for Alexis. If indeed I'm not going to say what, just in case nobody watched it, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but good for Alexis for coming to her friend and saying, this is what has been said.
Shut the fuck up and stay in her own fucking relationship. Everyone needs to be quiet and not be like, the whole reason why Ben and Morgan in the first place is because what's his name told Alexis, who told her shit. Everything that their whole relationship has been fucked up because of Alexis.
No, their whole relationship has been fucked up because of Ben. Because Ben is going to Justin and spilling all his tea to Justin when he should shut his mouth. When you're in a marriage, or in a committed relationship, you keep your mouth shut. You keep your shit within your marriage and your relationship between you and your significant other.
Do that. And Alexis brought it back to Morgan. She didn't fucking keep it in her relationship. If Justin tells her something and says, "Hey, I heard from Ben so-and-so, but don't tell anybody."
Ben's fault. That's not Morgan's fault. That's Ben's fault. Because Ben went to Justin. Justin told Alexis, and Alexis told Morgan.
Tanya, it's Alexis's fault for if Justin tells her something in their relationship. If but Ben told Justin and Justin told her in their relationship, they need to keep it between them.
Yeah, you're right on that one. You're right on that one. I'll give you that.
The only reason why they've had any issues is because Alexis's big fucking mouth has fucked it up for everything.
You're right.
I agree 100.
She should have learned the first time not to say anything, even if it's gonna be like, that's my girl. Because her fucking relationship's fucked up, she's trying to fuck up everyone else's relationship.
You right on that one, bro.
She should have said shit in the first place too. Justin should have known. I don't know if she told her directly to Alexis, which is weird to me if Ben would say something directly to Alexis. But I think Ben probably said something else to Justin, and then Justin.
I think that's what it was.
And then Alexis.
But you know what? I honestly believe that whatever he said to Justin, they're blowing it out of proportion.
Exactly.
That's what I believe.
I agree. I agree with that. Because 100%. It is TV. But Chris, I got to give you that, and I'm going to rewind. I'm going to rewind my shit back because you were absolutely right. I was looking more at Justin and Ben. I mean, Morgan and Ben and Justin. And you are absolutely right. If I was in a relationship and even though I could be friends with Shahidah, I could be friends with whoever. And if my man comes to me and says some shit, I'm going to be like, baby, this stays up in this house. I ain't got shit else to say. Unless it's some detrimental shit. But even then, as a wife, let me finish. As a wife, I'd say to my husband, you need to talk to your boy and you need to figure that shit out.
Right.
That's your job.
I'm
staying out of
the relationship between Ben and Morgan has been outside.
You're absolutely right.
That's the only reason why they've had problems in their relationship because Ben seems to be like, well, now what the fuck did I do? Even in the thing, even when he's like in the preview, he's like, what happened? And she's like, I'm fucking late. He's like, what?
Oh my God. In the preview, she showed up with her dress on looking like a Brutus. Like she was like walking up in there like with her dress on. Like she was about to Krav Maga his ass. And I was like, oh, girl, you got a dress on. Walk a little bit more feminine. But here we are. Anyway, I agree with you, Chris. I take all that back. I'll rewind all that shit talking I was talking back because you are 100%.
Well, until next week, because we are what?
Everyone's a mess. Everyone is a mess. Everyone is a mess in this.
Yeah, I only like Kristen though. I do like her.
Do too.
I like Kristen. I still like Stasha, but I'm gonna need Stasha to step. I'm gonna need Stasha to fall back a little bit and just work with him and go do your therapy. He signed up for therapy with you. Go do your therapy and handle your business, boo, because I need them two to succeed. That's all I need.
Really?
Anyway,
they're going to. I believe 100%.
I want them to be out of all the couples, I'm rooting for them.
I'm not rooting for them. I just think that they're going to stay together.
Oh, I'm rooting for them, and I want them to stay together. I need them to stay together. All right, guys. So anyway,
I'm rooting for Nick to shave the thing on the back of his head.
Okay, that's not going to happen, boo.
I know.
Oh, Nate. Oh, yeah, no.
He can't take it.
He's not going to shave the back of his head. He's going to have to shave his whole head and just start over again. But he ain't going to do that.
I'd be like, at night.
Oh, yeah. I'd have sex with him, and as I'm having sex with him, I'd be...
Oh, my God. Let's wrap it up. I'm
just saying. On that note, love you guys. Hey, listen, we'll see you guys next week.
Shahidah, what are you supposed to do?
I had a big thing about voting this week and then coming up in November, but it's like such quick. So I'm just going to be very quick about it. I just want everybody to think about what is going on in the world right now and right here in the United States and how, honestly, it's the Republicans. They got Nazi followers and they got white supremacists and they have, so what do those people have for us? Nothing. So these people that are saying that the Republicans and the Democrats are the same are fucking fooling you. People who are telling you that voting doesn't matter, vote matters. Those votes in Mississippi when they keep electing these Republican governors, now fucking Jackson doesn't have any water. Voting matters. Local judges matter. All of these things matter. And we got the Senate and we got representative votes coming up and governorships. Go out and vote, people.
And the fact that Sarah Palin lost, and for the first time in 40 years, there's a
Democrat,
and a
native,
and a native Indian, an indigenous woman.
Come on. We got and stop listening to these black rappers or whatever it is that they're saying, trying to push you to these Republicans. Look at what the Republicans are saying. They are trying to take your rights away. Now they want to go. I mean, you already got Roe versus Wade, gone, and then on the local level, these governors and these middle country, incest means nothing to them. Rape means nothing to them. Age of a young girl or woman means nothing to them. They have nothing for you. If you want to, have any kind of democracy going forward, you have to vote these people out. And I'm just imploring everybody to go out and vote. And if you got a student loan forgiveness, your ass better be out there and voting because you did all that shit talking about if Biden don't do this and blah, blah. And then I still heard some people saying, well, it wasn't enough. They're not going to vote. What the fuck do you want? What do you want? Go out there and vote because Trump is not going to give you anything.
No. And I am an elections commissioner in my city that I live in here. And I will be at the polls on Tuesday doing my civic duty like I always do every election. And all I'm saying is if you don't vote, don't say shit.
And if you don't vote the right way,
don't complain.
Go and look what those Republicans have set
That's
up
right.
for you. And if they say they're coming back in office, or if they get Trump, or if they get the Senate, they're not talking about bills that's going to help your life. They're talking about going after Democrats to make them suffer. That's not going to help me. That's not going to help me. And what have they done the last 2 years? All they have done is be sycophants for him. They haven't produced any bills. All they did, they actually, every bill that Biden has put out there, they have voted no on. I mean, the Inflation Act, come on.
The veterans one.
The veterans, oh yeah, they came back and finally said yes to that one,
because of all the
and voted that one because of the pressure. But obviously, they don't give a fuck about veterans, because they did for so long. If it wasn't for the pressure, they wouldn't have done anything.
Honey, they don't give a fuck about law enforcement in general, because of what, if it doesn't suit them, like they're going after the FBI people that raided Mar-a-Lago, and they're, Blue Lives Matter only when it's convenient for them.
Blue lives matter when blue lives are beating the shit out of black people, brown people.
That's it.
That's when their lives matter.
They will show up on those Blue Lives Matters doorsteps if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But if it's to the detriment of them, they will friggin' make their lives miserable.
They're not the law and order party. So go vote. Go vote.
They are not. Go vote. And I'm gonna end it on a song that we was last week. Look at me like, bitch, what?
What song?
Listen. I was so excited, and my kneecaps are still healing. But I'm gonna end it. I always do. But now I'm gonna end it. Don't hang up on me, y'all. I'm just gonna end it real quick and be like, hola, hola, hey, hola, hola, hey, roll it. Oh shit, I gotta get out of this big screen real quick.
Oh my god, this shit.
Okay. Hola, hola, hey, hola, oh, we'll see you next week. Roll it, roll it, roll. We can't play now. Ow, ow, ow.